Hi, we're here again with Thomas and myself, and we thought today we'd talk about insects and some of the other problems that you probably get from other instructors, but I am one that gets into some specifics, okay? And one of the problems that people have, they learn in class what insects are. And I think you have to find out what they do and really listen to your instructors and get their life cycle down. That's how you can eliminate them. But you can't just think, willy-nilly I can go out and spray or put this organic material on. If you put it on at the wrong time of the year, it won't work. So the first one that I'd like to tell you about is, if you probably studied already, the word nematode is a little minute worm that we don't see. And when I went to college, they were bad guys. We hated nematodes. They were doing in all kind of crops and everything. And then as I taught over the years, we found out, not just for nematodes, but other insects, there are beneficial insects the same as there are detrimental insects. So you have to be able to identify one from the other. Well, when it comes to nematodes, there's a lot of faith going into it. Somebody sells you some beneficial nematodes, like I do. They come in this little packet. It comes in a sponge. And in that sponge, in this packet, that's what the sponge looks like, just a sponge. In this little package, the one that I paid for, there are 1 million in there. Now, you better believe they're in there because you can't see them. And what you have to do, you dump them in water, swish them around, and then you apply them with a sprinkling can or any other method you could do. It'll do 2,000 to 3,000 square feet. But you put these in a bucket, swish them around, and you don't see nobody in there. So you put them on, and they go and they'll eat mites or larvae of certain insects. The one that we use them for, you can use them for lawn insects that chew on your lawn, but if you look at this edge of the paper here, I'm going to just, these are little holes there. 2 little holes. What those is with my drawing, but what that is like if you took a paper punch on the edge of a leaf, you get half of a hole. And if you ever see that, that's black vine weevil. So you think, I'll get rid of the black vine weevil and I won't have any holes. But the black vine weevil isn't doing the most damage. The larva is eating on the roots. And people don't know that. So if you just would use some kind of a spray to get rid of the adults up here, there may be others coming up before you know it, and then the cycle keeps going. So if you read the packet even, it says to put them on every 3 to 4 weeks for maybe 3 or 4 applications. That way you're going to break up these colonization. But if you just did it once, you may get rid of one batch, but there's another batch down there. And so I've used them for thrip. That's another one. That any kind of an insect that has a larva in the ground or winterizes in the ground, these guys go to sleep in the ground. After they get through eating all these insects, they more or less go to sleep. And in fact, to tell you the truth, I found one arborist, and I followed his advice, and I did it. We had beetles, pine beetles, and pine beetles make a little hole, and then the beetle goes in, and then they lay the larva, and the larva goes all through there. So this gentleman said, you make your solution of these guys, put them in a little oil gun that's brand new, never had oil in it, and squirt these guys in every hole you find. And I stopped the beetles. You know, and whenever I would put them in a hole, I had some chalk or paint, and I painted that hole so I wouldn't know if new ones are coming. So I come back in 10 days, I find some new holes, give them a shot, and I got rid of the beetle. But this is kind of a Mickey Mouse operation, but it worked. You know, a lot of people have all these other grandiose ideas that they want to try, but to get rid of the beetles, if you have one tree or a couple trees, give it a try. You have nothing to lose. You can't hurt the tree by putting these guys in there. Okay, so that's on these, and I buy these from it's called Hydro Gardens, and they're in Colorado, I think. And you can look them up on your computer, and the ones I get are called Guardian Lawn Control. And since we're talking about these guys, there are pirate bugs, there are praying mantis, there are ladybugs. These people hear about all this and they think it's wonderful, but you have to learn, like even spray material, how to use it, when to use it. Not just willy-nilly going out and throwing them around like that, because my son Robert always said, you buy them but you don't own them. A lot of time you throw them on the plant and they fly away. So that's the thing with those particular things. Do we have much more time, Thomas?
Yep.
Okay. So those are some of the insects that I'm just talking about now, but for you, you could study up on it. There's so much information now on beneficials, you know, and there are a lot of them that are natural. So that's why I want you to learn to identify the beneficials, because you may have them in your garden, and if you're spraying, you may be killing them. So to go one step further, there's a lot of organic materials out there, and one is pyrethrum rotenone. And they used to use this a lot when I was in college. They're all organic. And rotenone was used by the natives. They used to, in South America, throw it on the water and then the fish suffocate. You're not poisoning them. They suffocate. They come up, you could eat the fish. They did Lake Merced a few, 30 years ago. They wanted to put only trout in there, and they had all kind of other kind of fish, goldfish and everything that people put in there. You know, homeowners get rid of fish, you know. And so they use rotenone, and if you had a fishing license or you were under 15, they'd allow you to go out and pick 2 fish up the first day or 2 after they did it. After that, it was posted. You can't have them anymore because, you know, they start to rot or something like that, and then you could get sick and you want to sue the city, you know. So after that, they were, until they were all dead and scooped up, they had patrols out there to keep people from picking up the fish after 2 days.
Must have been some big catfish and carp and all sorts of stuff, huh? Eels.
So the main reason I'm telling you about this one, if you happen to be using rotenone for your insects, you got to be careful, because if your rotenone flows across to your neighbor's yard and they have goldfish or they have some carp, some expensive ones, you're going to be liable. So, you know, a lot of times, you know, I always had a spray license. I used all different materials, and if I always look to see if people had a pool of any kind. If it was a swimming pool, I wouldn't do it. If it was a little fish pond, I'd get my plastic and I'd seal up there, put plastic over the whole pool, put rocks around to hold it down. We'd spray, because you're not supposed to let your spray material go over the fence. But who's to say it won't? And I never wanted to have to pay for somebody's fish. You know, so the idea is either you cover it up or don't do it. Nobody says you have to spray,
No.
you know, so this is up to you, you know, but be aware that some sprays that we use could kill fish. And find that out before you use this, before you buy the material. That's why you people are lucky. Today, whenever you want to buy something, you could look it up on your computer. And in my day, you had to write or get a hold of a data sheet from the company before you could read up on it. You can't just, you should never just read the label. You want to see a data sheet. It tells all about it. And then make your decision, you know, what you want to do. Okay? So that's a little bit different than usually when I talk about spray materials and stuff like that. But beneficials are coming more and more. And I don't know if Malcolm, do you know if he teaches beneficials?
Certainly, I think in this pest class,
Yeah.
Malcolm Hillen.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because you have to know the difference. Because there are so many beneficials out there and people buying them and putting them out, and they may jump onto your yard just because you see an insect. You know, like when I was a kid, my mother saw a spider, boom, kill it. And a lot of spiders, we all know, are good.
Sure.
There's only a few bad spiders. And one of them, that brown recluse spider, you hardly could see that one, and it could do real damage to humans. Okay? That's it for today. See you later.